Yahoo Finance reporter Allie Garfinkle is here to break down exactly what makes Novo Nordisk so special.
Jared, good morning. Investors out there, I have a bit of a riddle for you. What do Ozempic and Legos have in common? Yes, okay, they're both from Denmark. You probably knew that. However, what you may not know is that they are both also controlled by a foundation primarily. Now, that's exactly what it sounds like. It's a charitable entity focused on the public good. And this is a system that's actually pretty common in Danish capitalism. So you get a sense of what we're talking about here. The Novo Nordisk Foundation holds 28% of shares of the company, but 77% of the voting power. Now, for private investors and institutional investors, those numbers are going to be essentially reversed. Now, for my tech investors out there, this might be sounding a little bit familiar to you. And that's because this structure is fundamentally similar in many ways to a model we have here in the United States. And that model is called the dual class system. Now, you mostly see it in tech companies. Meta, Shopify, Alphabet are all examples. And it is pretty controversial. It's a system where there are Class A shares and Class B shares. The Class A shares have more voting power and are less common, usually reserved for founders, and Class B shares are available on the public markets and have less voting power. Now, there are pros and cons here. I've talked to a lot of advocates, a lot of critics, and the arguments sort of boil down to this. Advocates will say that it's stability. Dual-class system insulates a company from short-term concerns, short sellers, corporate raiders. All of those are not going to be concerns in a dual-class system. However, a lot of critics will say that it actually insulates the company from real criticism, insulates the company from change, and often will concentrate power in just too few hands. Now, what should investors make of this in the case of Novo Nordisk? It's sort of a unique situation because it's a foundation. However, there are things to just know. Number one, it's a pretty inherently risky structure, a lot of people will say. Even though Novo Nordisk has done incredibly well, it's something investors should absolutely be aware of. It's also something where investors should know about the foundation itself, the foundation that's making a lot of these decisions. The foundation's primary objectives, notably, are not growth. They are stability and supporting scientific and humanitarian causes. So that's a thing to keep in mind. Experts say ultimately, though, that no one should discount Novo Nordisk because of this structure. They should just be aware, come in eyes wide open, because they're benefiting from a pretty simple reality here, and it's that it's hard to argue with success. Diane, Jared?